Tell us a little bit about Bryson, about how long he's been here or how you found the CU DPT clinic.
Okay, so the way we found it was he has a therapist named T.R. Goins, who is now on the faculty here. And she invited us a few years back. She asked if we would come and participate, and we agreed to do it. And he liked doing it. And for us, it's like a whole nother therapy session for the week. We usually have one in a week. So now we're getting two in a week, and it's greatly beneficial for him both socially because he likes connecting with everybody and also because he gets physical therapy.
Fantastic. And so, when did Bryson's journey with physical therapy begin?
So I would say I'm pretty sure it was when he was about 2. So he was born premature. He was 13 weeks premature. Had a number of problems going on at his birth, and as he started to kind of age and grow, the thing that was becoming clear was that he was probably going to have cerebral palsy and some other problems. And when he was about 2 years old, they recommended that he start seeing a therapist, and he did. And he's 26. He's been seeing one ever since.
Wow. So, what has him receiving physical therapy meant to you? What difference has it made to you personally as a caregiver?
So I would say the primary thing it's meant is that he is getting physical therapy in a fashion that allows us to improve his quality of life. I I get from the get go that when we learned everything that was going on with Bryson, there wasn't a silver bullet and there wasn't a magic fix. These were chronic problems that were going to last the rest of his life. And so one of the things that his therapist has been wonderful about, and actually TR has been his therapist for the last 20 years, is that it's a quality of life. By that I mean because he can lift his feet up, we can get his socks on a lot easier, get his pants on when he's getting dressed. Because he can balance himself on the edge of the bed even though he cannot walk, we can dress him a lot easier. We don't have to worry about him falling while we adjust a chair or change something, say, in his bedroom for his comfort. But because he can balance and do it himself, it makes it a lot easier. Likewise, when he's in the shower, we have a shower chair, but because he has gotten pretty good at balancing himself, he's able to help in the shower a whole lot more. So while he continues to have problems, those kind of things, while they may sound small to a lot of people, for him, those are huge. And for us as caregivers, my wife and I, he lives in our home and probably will until we're really too old to take care of him. Um, those make it, it's like a night and day difference. Absolutely different.
It sounds like it has made it, his independence has made all of you a little bit more independent.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
sounds great.
that's a good way to put it. He has grown in his ability to be independent through the physical therapy he's been receiving over his lifetime.
All right. And what is one thing you wish everyone knew about physical therapy?
I guess I would hope that everyone would understand that even if there's not a guaranteed outcome that will improve whatever the problem might be, whether it's chronic or a recent injury or a change in your health, it is a dramatic help and helps change the way you live more than you can kind of imagine on the front end. On the front end, it just seems like you're going to do some exercises and maybe do this or do that, stretch him or be able to do that. And you don't really realize that if your PT is smart, they're helping you look for ways to improve quality of life, which is a big thing.
That is a really big thing. And what advice do you have for student physical therapists versus maybe advice you would have for a seasoned physical therapist?
I think for a student physical therapist, I would have two pieces of advice. One would be to look for the ways to improve quality of life, to understand that if their baseline's down here and their hope to get where you would be is up here, the fact that you might not ever have any real sense that you're going to reach that kind of upper goal, there's a lot of difference between those spaces. And that if you can help take that young man, young woman, older man, older woman, depending on what kind of therapy you're doing, to some of those kind of intermediate steps where quality of life improves, it's going to ripple out into their lives and into the lives of their families. I think the other thing I would suggest is that I would think it's almost imperative to find a way to have an authentic relationship with your patient, and if your patient has caregivers, with them as well. You may not like them, or you might have times when you wish they weren't a part of your clinic practice. But if you can look for a way or find a way to kind of have an authentic relationship, it makes a world of difference.
Okay, and how about those seasoned therapists that have been in practice for a long, long time? Anything from a caregiver's point of view that you wish all of them knew?
I think I would wish all of them to know that I never write my son off. So I don't want anybody else to write him off. Years ago, when he was in the NICU, he lived in neonatal intensive care for about 60 days. Um, about 7 days in, they did some imaging in his head, and they realized he had had some really severe cranial bleeding, which is part of the reason he's got some of his problems. And one of the nurses that was helping take care of him kept talking about, she kept saying, "I'm just so sorry this has happened. I'm so sorry for him." And on about the third day of that, it was kind of the point where I couldn't take it anymore. And so we asked the staff to have her be kind of barred, or if you will, or banned from taking care of Bryson, because we only wanted him taken care of by people that think this game's not over yet. We don't know what's going to happen at the end of it, but we don't want to start right now assuming the worst or thinking things are so bad we can't find a way to a little bit more light out of the darkness. So I think I would encourage him never to give up on improvement of some kind or change of some kind.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So, what kind of difference has CU DPT Peds Lab made in Bryson's life, in your life?
Well, so in Bryson's life, so Bryson is an only child. He was born late in our lives. So he lives with us. And so he lives a fairly, at first glance, a little bit of an isolated life, only because he doesn't have a lot of people coming and going who are friends. He's pretty wired in terms of texting, social media, computers, and telephone. He's got an extended family here and in other states that he stays in touch with, that we travel to see with a lot. But one of the first things for Bryson coming here is, like, to him, he thinks of it as coming to a party, to be honest. I mean, he enjoys being around the students. He really likes talking with them. He really likes watching them interact and trying to get them involved in his world. And so for him, I don't think he really thinks of it as PT. I think he more like thinks of it as this cool place I'm going on Friday afternoons. And I think
Sure.
part of that is, the enthusiasm of the students. That's part of what would make that, for him, a cool thing to do, to not dread it or to say, I don't really want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he's kind of surrounded by peers. You were saying he's in
Exactly. I
his
mean,
mid
he's in that
20s.
general
Yeah,
age range, so
yeah.
that's a big thing. And then kind of the enthusiasm of the people involved is infectious, and I think he picks up on that. He knows, one of the things we've learned over the years is he knows when somebody doesn't really care about him or want to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't say anything about it. He just kind of accepts it and goes on. But I think um, the joy I see him leave here with is not easily replicated anywhere else.
That's wonderful. And that's the kind of student we're trying to foster and
Yeah,
cultivate here.
I think that's happening from the experiences I've had here. I think that it's really happening.